The latest episode of The Mandalorian has restored my faith in Disney's understanding of a certain Star Wars character.
I'm a simple man making his way through the galaxy. I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.
Jango Fett, father of Boba Fett, a foundling inducted as a Mandalorian pretty much just like Din Djarin was. If you've watched some of my recent videos, like the start of my playthrough of Star Wars Bounty Hunter, one of the first Star Wars games I ever played as a kid, how good it was, then you'll know how much I dislike the fact Jango Fett wasn't considered a Mandalorian in the new canon. Until now. It's kind of gone back and forth over the years. At one point he is a Mandalorian, at others he isn't. George has an opinion as well. Let me explain. So in Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Jango Fett was considered a real Mandalorian. You actually start the game with a ship that's not the Slave One. This is Jasta's legacy, and Jasta Mareel was the Mandalorian who saved Jango Fett when Jango was just a child, much like how Din Djarin was saved by the Children of the Watch.
Why don't you spend some of your hard-earned cash on a new ship?
Not a chance. She belonged to Jasta Mareel.
I know. The Mandalorian soldier who took you under his wing.
I was just watching one of EckhartsLadder's recent videos. He makes a lot of Star Wars lore content, and he brought up how Boba Fett's chain code, the hologram we see projected from Boba's armor, actually contains the words Mentor Jast, J-A-S-T. I think it was the Reddit community, people on there who translated this. Yes, these symbols are actually translatable, of course, why wouldn't they be? But this actually connects Jango and Boba's origins to the Mandalorians. Finally, we have an official explanation of Jango's origins, because as some of you may know, the Clone Wars undid this back in 2010 as what's called a retcon, when they kind of take something and, give it a new meaning. It's kind of like how Captain Rex was put into the Battle of Endor. That's a retcon. Let's look up the official. Here we go. Retcon, a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events, typically used to facilitate a dramatic plot shift or account for an inconsistency. So there you go. The Clone Wars tried to say he's not a Mandalorian. In Season 2's The Mandalore Plot episode, Obi-Wan speaks to Almec, the Prime Minister of Mandalore, and directly brings up Jango Fett.
I recently encountered a man who wore Mandalorian armor. Jango Fett.
Jango Fett was a common bounty hunter. How he acquired that armor is beyond me.
Now from this, it seems Almec is implying Jango Fett is no Mandalorian. And it was Dave Filoni himself that confirmed George Lucas never saw Boba or Jango as Mandalorians.
So the idea that Jango Fett is not a Mandalorian, that's something that comes directly from George.
Interesting, huh? Did you know that the word Mandalorian is never mentioned in a Star Wars film? Jango and Boba are only ever referred to as bounty hunters. Everything we know about Mandalorians started with this one mysterious character. For years, for decades, we knew nothing about his background, who he was, where he came from, nothing. And he spawned everything. Before the TV show, we had the games, the books, novels, everything, every depiction, everything came from this one single mysterious character in armor. Crazy, huh? Hey everyone, it's Andrew. It's a bit of a slow week last week for content on the channel, but thanks to everyone who sent me messages. I've been a bit sick, but feeling much better now, so thanks for being patient. Now, this latest episode had so much Star Wars lore and backstory going on that it was honestly hard to keep track of for such a short episode too. Why did they decide to finally make Jango and Boba true Mandalorians if it went against what George wanted? Is it because George isn't running the show anymore? I honestly wonder if they needed to get his approval for this, actually. Just go knock on George's door and be like, hey man, is it all good if we make Jango and Boba actual Mandalorians? But now that their backstory is official, there's a few other things that still need to be addressed. Boba's armor is one of those. So Disney and the writers working on The Mandalorian have canonized the Legends version of Boba and Jango. They aren't just mercenaries, they're real Mandos, even if they no longer follow the creed. And as Boba says himself,
I give my allegiance to no one.
How good was it seeing Temuera Morrison playing Boba Fett as well? He's back. Man, Exactly what we all wanted to see. Honestly, for me, it was strange thinking this is Boba and not Jango, but the way he spoke about his father with so much respect was something that really hit home for me. Like, so much of what drives Boba has to do with his father. I wonder how he feels about the Jedi now as well, you know, because of what happened back during the Clone Wars. Does Boba realize that Baby Yoda, yes, that's still what I'm going to be calling him, is a Jedi? And if he eventually finds out, if he doesn't know, will he turn on Din Djarin and try and kill Baby Yoda? So Boba speaks about how his armor was once his father's.
This is my father, Jango Fett.
But wait, didn't Boba use Jango's helmet to lure Anakin and Mace Windu into a trap during the Clone Wars? And here we see it explode, right? Doesn't it get destroyed? Well, there are two explanations for how this could still be the same helmet. First up, the helmet is made of Beskar, meaning it would have probably survived the explosion. I mean, we see the Razor Crest get eviscerated in this episode, and Din goes over and pulls the Beskar spear from the wreckage, undamaged and untouched. So we know that this metal is basically indestructible. Too bad the Razor Crest wasn't made of Beskar. Hell, Din even uses his arm piece to block Ahsoka's lightsabers. So the helmet would have probably survived this explosion, even though Boba placed the bomb literally inside the helmet. Or the other theory is that this wasn't actually Jango's helmet, but instead a dummy used by Boba, a copy made of cheap metal used to lure in the Jedi. I guess they could argue this way, and they possibly don't even have to explain this. But what I don't understand is if this is actual Beskar, then why the bullet dent in the helmet? What was capable of making this dent? It's one of the big mysteries of Star Wars. How did Boba get the dent in his helmet? Is there something out there that can dent or pierce Beskar? Din Djarin confirms that Boba's armor is real Beskar, which is why at first he wants to keep it because it belongs to the Mandalorians.
The Beskar belongs to the Mandalorians. It was looted from us during the Purge.
As he says, it was taken from them during the Purge. And the Purge is when the Empire basically attacked Mandalore, stealing their Beskar and killing many who wore it. Not much is actually known about this event, but I'm assuming we'll get more explanation soon in The Mandalorian. I think this is how Moff Gideon took the Darksaber from Bo-Katan during this event, and is why the tribe operate in secrecy underground, because they were hunted by the Empire. Now, in one of the unfinished Season 7 Clone Wars episodes, this is one of the ones that wasn't chosen for the actual Season 7 that aired earlier this year. Boba has a standoff with Cad Bane, and this was going to explain how Boba's helmet received the bullet dent from Cad's blaster during the standoff. But even if this was finished and followed through, how was Cad's blaster capable of denting the Beskar? What? Isn't this stuff supposed to be indestructible? Did he have, like, you know, silver bullets or something like that? I guess he's not a vampire. Another thing that's really strange about this is in that scene I showed you before where Boba uses Jango's helmet as a bomb trap, we can also see the same dent. It's in the same spot. So if it's the same helmet, why would the dent be here but then not here? The continuity is kind of messed up. And how did this helmet get the dent in the first place? There's actually another dent made in Jango's helmet that magically appears halfway through the Attack of the Clones fight with Obi-Wan on Kamino. Some people say it's from when Jango headbutted Obi-Wan and it appears after that. Didn't realize Obi-Wan's head could dent Beskar. That's how powerful a Jedi he was. You see no dent here, but there's a dent here. But this is clearly higher up on the helmet than Boba's, so it's not the same dent. Weird continuity. This is never explained. No idea if it actually will be. It'll be interesting to see if these mysterious dents are ever explained, especially if the armor is true Beskar. Perhaps Din's armor will eventually be dented and we'll get to see how these are possible. Who knows? But all in all, I love that we finally have a clear explanation of Boba and Jango's origins. I feel like this has solved a great mystery, something I've been thinking about since I was a kid, so that's really cool. And this episode did once again feel like a fan service, something I talked about in my last Mandalorian video, which was similar to the Ahsoka episode. But I like the fact Boba and Din are working together. How long it lasts, who knows, but this definitely makes me more interested in Boba's character, and all I want is more. What do you guys think? How do you explain the dents, and are you happy Jango and Boba are now officially Mandalorians? I've got more Mandalorian and Bounty Hunter content here. You can watch my playthrough, get some more older details on Jango and Boba that fill in more of the pieces of the puzzle. Some really interesting plot that happens in this game. It's really cool. Talks about Jango's origins, and also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord for lots more Star Wars, Mandalorian stuff, content, everything else. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.